Greetings viewers and subscribers. So like we promised, this is our second video for today. In this video, we are not gonna be doing any driving. We are gonna put up some images. The images we are gonna put up is of a man named Mr. Oral Britton. He, like his wife is describing him, is a so-called bishop. Last week, there was an article or two articles in both newspapers, and the article stated that Westmoreland pastor was arrested and charged for hold down and take away. Now, we carried a story on Sunday, the 18th of July 2021, because we were getting information that this man, he's not actually from Petersfield like he's claiming. Like we told you, he might have been there for a while. Now, we saw a comment under the video. The comment is now on your screen, and it said, Oral Britton, so-called bishop, is not originally from Petersfield. He ran to that community for refuge because the police were looking for him with regards to a similar charge still in court in Clarendon. Before he went to Westmoreland, he was living in Clarendon, Manchester, St. Mary, St. Anne, but he's originally from Rallington town in Kingston. So, for those who were commenting that why after 2 years, it's now he's been charged and they don't believe it, what the person who made the comment is saying is that he was on the run for a different charge. The person who made that comment is Caroline Britton. Yes, Mr. Britton's wife, or his estranged wife. We made contact and she decided that she's gonna tell her story in her own words. No, Mr. Britton, he's before the courts. We are not gonna be trying the case. In fact, we are not gonna be commenting on the charge or charges that he's facing in court. What we are gonna do is let you listen to Mr. Britton's wife. She has a lot to say. So without further ado, here goes.
Bless you all YouTubers. This is the estranged wife of the gentleman now in question, Oral Britton, otherwise known as Bishop. To make it clear, he is not originally from Petersfield, but he recently moved to Petersfield after the police were hunting him down to answer to charges in Clarendon, sexual assault, etc. charges in Clarendon. That's when he moved to Petersfield. But before that, he was living in Scarlett Hall, St. Anne. And before that, he was living in St. Anne, that's Tower Isles. And before that, I could go on and on. So we got married in 2013. And between 2013 and 2019, we have moved to several different homes. We started a ministry in Three Hills, St. Mary. But previously, there were two other ministries, one in Westmoreland, Farm District, and one in Maypen, Sugar Hill, off Chapelton Road. I had some problems really when he wanted sisters, single sisters from the church to come home or to stay with us over time. And when I was off to work and my daughters were off to work, they would be home by themselves. There were times I get to understand, well, based on pictures that were sent to me with him, and sisters at the beach, sometimes in a group, sometimes by themselves. And these are some of the questions that I had and concerns. There were times I, mentioned to him that he was too close to these sisters. There were other problems I had when I go to church. He would tell anybody whenever I get there to hand over the service to me, and then he would be off in his office and these sisters would be summoned one after the other into his office. And these were some concerns I had, but little did I know that things were happening behind my back. Or, to be honest with you, I did not expect some of these things that are basically coming out now. I
didn't want to break, but I have to break right here. Remember that Bishop is facing other charges. He's facing charges in Clarendon. Listen to what his wife is gonna tell you that he's charged for, or at least one of the charges that he's facing. Like we say, we are not trying him, we are not convicting him, but mothers, wives, sisters, listen to this part of what Mrs. Britton have to say. Listen carefully. Here goes.
The strangest thing, and one of the charges that he's answering to in Maypen, is really, I have 3 girls, none of them his, and he started one of them from age 11. I remember there were days when she would herself. There were days when, she would want to close her doors at nights, and I would say no, because anything could happen to her, and I really didn't want not to be able to get through to her. And I did not know that I was actually leaving the doors open for him to take advantage of her. I went through a period where it was really sad when I found out all of these. I remember sisters came to stay with us. One in particular, she got shot and she stayed with us, and to find out that he was putting her with me being under the same roof. And so I could mention quite a few, from some I learned even before we got married and all of this. But the real point that I really want to get across to you out there, YouTubers, is the fact that there are sometimes, as the wives of bishops and pastors and deacons, you name it, minister of religion, we tend to cover things up because we really want to keep the hat with the shoes matching in order to be on the platform all the time, and to keep that lovely smile in order to be the powerful woman behind the minister's back. But then there comes a time when we need to step back and analyze that there are other women and children out there that are suffering at the hands of these men. Let me say men because of my experience. And so women and children are hurting at the hands of these men. As a matter of fact, I now use a certain term to say dirty touch. Jamaican terms, dirty touch. And so these men are doing these things to these women, and over years they keep crying. The scars are there and they are suffering, and there's just no one to answer to it, because these men continue to live their lives with their families happily, not understanding the toll it's taking on women and children. And so I have started 2 years ago a project. As a matter of fact, I started writing a book entitled As I See It, through the eyes of the pastor's wife, the many different things that as a wife of a bishop I had to face, and I had to keep the smiles nevertheless. And so I took it on myself that going forward I need to stand up, not really to keep the smile behind these minister of religion, but to stand up and stand out for what is right, to know that these things are happening and it's affecting women and children deeply. And we need to stand up and put a stop to it. I don't know. I preached a message some years ago, Daniel stands alone. I am willing to stand up as the only wife of a bishop or a pastor or a deacon, or you name it, that is willing to say, I have known of these cases and enough is enough. We will no longer smile knowing that all these things are happening and accept it. And so last year we came out and we did a standoff at the church in Maypen, the branch in Maypen, and we were saying no more, no more, no more. It is about time women stand up and not be afraid of these men who would bully us, or want to embarrass us or threaten us, for that matter, to say that they can do this or that with us, and we accept what they have to offer. It is about time, especially women, standing up to show their girls that, listen man, we don't need to accept a dirty touch, a rape, an assault, or anything of this kind from any one of these men. But we will defend the right, stand up for the right, declare the right, so that later on our girls will say, at least we did something for them. These women will say, somebody stood in the gap for me, and I really appreciate it. And so this is not really to tear him down, but to stand up to let others know that, listen, I am one who will stand up and stand out. I get to understand now that they are having a GoFund for him, which I believe it's a sham, because the charge that was placed against him in Maypen, he got bail on the basis that he was not well. And before that, I knew nothing of him with a heart condition. Not to mention, they are saying it's because he's not well, they are doing the GoFund. No. Let's take it. He has a charge in Maypen. He's now in jail in St. Mary. And he still has to answer to charge in Clarendon on the same issue of sexual assault, etc. So women, it is nice to know that women in St. Mary are standing up, women in Clarendon are standing up, and I am sure there are women out there who know him and knows the kind of person that he is. Yes, he will pray for you, and if he lays his hand on the dead will raise. But I'm saying, apart from that, there are some people who have been given gifts from God, and they will continue to use their gifts to solicit money from people, and I am sure he is one of them. So ladies, let us stand up and stand out. Let us declare what is right in the sight of God, and let us no longer be afraid to stand up, because we don't want to be called out from in the church, and we don't want anyone to point on us whenever we move about. No. That's not the point. It is more painful when we are behind the scene crying our pillows wet than to know that these men are getting away with this. So I hope as you listen, you are one of them that will stand out, not necessarily because you were touched by Oral Britton, but because you have the experience from some minister of religion and he's out there smiling happily with his wife, but you are there suffering. Stand up and stand out. Make that report. Go to your nearest police station and make that report. You will never regret it. Believe you me. And may I add, I too am one of them. I'm one of the survivors. So do what you need to do. May God bless you. In Jesus' name.
Blessed love, everybody.